Hi everybody! Welcome back to Tips for You. Today I want to give you some studying tips to help you be a great student. And anybody can be an A student if they have the proper habits. And I went to college and high school, so I know all about balancing work and friends and school and sports and jobs and all that. So you really do have to set priorities. So first I want to talk to you a little bit about what you can do to be a good student in the classroom, and then we'll talk about what you can do at home to do your homework and make it count. Okay, so first I would suggest that you make sure that you have a separate spiral notebook for every class. And that's important because you want to keep your subjects separate. Now if you want to use the same spiral notebook for more than one class, then use dividers. And when you take notes in your spiral notebook on that subject, be sure you date the notes because you want to be able to quickly reference back to what day the teacher talked about something and what the subject contained. Now your notes should be as thorough as possible. You don't need to take down every word that the teacher says. You really need to take down whatever concept she's talking about as much as you can, he or she. Now whatever your teacher puts on the board, you should put down on your notes. They're not just putting it on the board for nothing. It really should be highlighted and put into your notes. And you should participate in the class. You're there to learn, actively learn, not just sit there and be taught and let the information come in and out of your head. And it's especially helpful if you don't understand something. If the class is moving too quickly, raise your hand, ask a question, and the teacher will be happy to explain it. That's what the classroom is for. In colleges, sometimes you're in big lecture halls and they don't want to take the time to do that. But you need to take some notes. You can always approach the teacher after class with your question and they'll just quickly tell you what exactly it is that you need to know. Don't let time get away from you. If you find that you're really struggling, make an appointment with either a tutor, and usually there are students who volunteer to tutor subjects that they're very good in, or in high school there's honor students who are doing very well in a subject, and you just need to make an appointment, sit down, and many times it'll really help you to hear it just sort of put into a different perspective by someone who's your peer, and before you know it, it clicks in your mind and you can move forward in the class and you won't struggle and drown as more and more information gets piled on top of it. So it's really about just paying attention to how well you are doing from the beginning. If you feel like you're going to struggle or you're struggling, don't wait. You don't want it to be the night before the test and you're cramming to understand something. You should understand everything by then, and all you should be doing is studying your notes in the chapters to prepare for the exam. Now you must do the readings. The readings are very important. They enhance what the teacher's talking about. They explain things in detail. You get the ideas, the vocabulary words. A good way to do it is just, to look at the chapter when you first sit down, sort of page through it quickly, see what the bold headings are and the vocabulary, and see if there are any questions at the end of the chapter. And if there are, I would highly recommend doing those questions because they're really good practice for when you have an exam. Then go back and read the chapter thoroughly, but to really understand it. Don't just read it to read it, but to really understand what you're studying, because there's a big difference, and it makes a difference as you go forward because the concepts all build on each other. Now, as far as homework goes, homework is really important in order for you to understand what's going on in class. So you should review your notes because you actually have a better retention span of the information if you review your notes within 24 hours. It'll enhance the understanding of the subject greatly for you. So when you're home, no computer. Don't sit in front of a computer and do your homework. You want to eliminate all the distractions if you're going to be a good student. And I do this in my house. I have 2 children, so I know all about, teaching good study habits. And you have to start when kids are small, and, by the time they get to high school, they're kind of embedded. But it's never too late to learn. So if you've been, ignoring your good study habits until now, and you want to make a change, and you want to do well in school, then you start now, and you will. Sit in a quiet spot away from a computer, no TV on, no music in your ears, no cell phone that you keep checking, Facebook that you keep checking. You shouldn't be texting every 2 minutes while you're studying. When you sit down to do your homework and when you sit down to study, you are studying without distractions. That's it. It'll take you twice as long if you've got all these distractions going on and you won't retain the information properly. So, I suggest when you get home, that's when you do your homework. Right away. Have a snack if you want to, but then go right to it. The best thing to do is to find a quiet spot and sit and do it. Then you can meet your friends and you can go out and you can watch TV and play your video games and all the other stuff that you want to do. But at least your homework will be done. It won't be hanging over your head and giving you anxiety that you still have to do it. Don't wait till the last minute. Don't wait till 10 o'clock at night to do your homework. Many students do that. Then they're too tired, they can't remember anything. It's an exercise in futility, then you stay up late, you don't get the proper sleep, and you really don't retain anything. So it's really best if you do it earlier in the evening and then enjoy the rest of the evening for yourself. Now sometimes, of course, you know you have a test and you want to take a little bit of time later in the evening to go over things again, that's fine. You shouldn't be cramming the night before a test for any test. That is really an anxiety-promoting situation. You should have started days before studying for the test, and then on the night of the test, plan on getting a good night's sleep, plan on not cramming. You should know your stuff by then. You shouldn't have to learn it all the night before, and you certainly shouldn't be unfamiliar with a lot of the concepts by then. By then you should have already gone over everything. So the more you can block out all of those distractions, the quicker you'll get your homework done and the more thoroughly you'll get it done. Now if there's something you have to hand in to your teacher, remember presentation is part of the whole thing. So you want to hand in something that's typed, you want to hand in something that's clean, it's a representation of yourself, you don't want it to be messy. How about if you went to a restaurant and they handed you a plate and the food was like all mixed in with the vegetables and the potato and it was all over the place, you'd be like, oh, it didn't even look appetizing to you. Presentation. You hand in a report or you hand in a project. It should look good. You should try to make it look as nice as possible. You should sit down and really want to make it look nice. Now, one word about studying with friends. It's usually not a good idea unless you're all done with your studying and you're going there for part social and partly just to maybe iron out a few things that you were shaky on. Don't plan on doing your main studying with other people there because it will invariably turn into a chat session and you just can't concentrate when there are other people around. And by the way, if they don't understand something and they take up your time and you haven't done your studying because you're busy trying to show them something, you're going to waste time that you should be spending on your studying. And, you know, as you get older, the subjects get harder. College is very independent. You're left on your own to do work, and you have to be responsible about it. And, you know, time management is very important. You want to make sure you get enough sleep in life. Otherwise, really, it all becomes just so overwhelming for you that you don't have time for anything else. So, plan ahead, and you'll do much better, and you'll be much more stress-free. So leave the study sessions if you've already had some time on your own where you've spent it going over the notes, going over the readings, and then you can meet some friends in the library and discuss some final points and kind of, you know, get psyched up for the test, you know, when it's finals week or whatever you want to do. But don't leave that as your main way of studying. That should be done. You, your notes, your book, quiet place, and that's where you absorb and do most of your work. I think a lot of the problems that young people have with studying, and this has been for generations, is just too many distractions. You know, don't do homework in front of the television. So I think if you can really minimize the distractions when you sit down to do homework, I think you can raise your grades. I think you can get fabulous grades, but you have to discipline yourself. You have to focus on having a longer attention span, because if you just read, you know, a couple paragraphs, jump up and go check and see who's texting you, I can promise you that it's not going to help you get a good grade on your test, because you've got to let the information sink in. You've got to put the time in. Now, of course, there are going to be subjects that you're just going to be naturally excelling at, and you won't need to put as much time in. You'll probably just absorb what you need to do in class with your teacher and then have to look at your reading somewhat, but you won't have to. But then there are other subjects that you really have to buckle down, really have to apply all of yourself to it in order for you to get a good grade. And it's those classes sometimes that will take more of your time. So you want to make sure that you budget for that and you give, you know, more of your time available to those classes, and then you can give a little less time to the ones that you do well in and that you excel in naturally to balance out your time so you can get good grades in everything. And school is important, you know, so when you're in it, sometimes you just don't realize the importance of it until you look back and say, oh, I wish I would have done better. So do apply it, do enjoy it, have fun with your friends. There's a time for everything. And if you get your work done, then you can have a free mind to go and have all the fun you want, to hang out with your friends and to do your, you know, electronic fun, whatever it might be, without the worry over your head that you've got something that you have to do and you're procrastinating it away. Okay, so I hope you found this video helpful. Those of you who need some study tips and need some motivation to hit the books, to make a change if you're not happy with the way things are going. Please subscribe because I have a lot more to come, something for everyone. And please visit me at my blog spot and on Facebook. And I will see you soon. Bye-bye now.